So talk to me about what's been going on, man. I see you've been obviously incredibly active. Tesla, Violet Breed, and even in your personal life. I saw you down at the Tigers game last week. You a big sports
Yeah,
guy?
yeah, it was the Tigers game. Yeah, me and Monique went to Detroit to see ELO, see Jeff Lynne, because
Wow.
this is his last tour, and I'm a huge Jeff Lynne fan. And we were there for I don't know 4 days. Monique's from Detroit, so um, we were there, and then got tickets to go watch the Tiger game. Unfortunately, they couldn't win, and they got eliminated. But I'm a Yankee fan, though. So, but I was pulling for Detroit,
There you go.
right?
So that's something that's big in your life, like you're a big sports guy.
No,
Okay.
no, I like baseball,
Right.
and I like the Yankees. It just happened, on days off and stuff. I like to go to baseball games. Um, uh, me and Jeff go to a lot of baseball games on days off because I like sitting at the ballpark and eating peanuts and watching a baseball game. It's fun. I used to play baseball, but I'm not really a sports guy. I don't watch like some dudes religiously watch football every Sunday, you know what I mean? Or,
Right.
the college basketball tournaments and all that stuff. No, but I like going to a baseball game, and it just the opportunity happened to present itself, and we went to the game, and it was fun.
I love that. And I mean, it sounds like you make time to sort of do things in your personal life that are outside of music. However, it also sounds like there's sort of a cross section with the music as well. As you mentioned, you were in Detroit for the concert. Do you find that music sort of seeps into everything that you do, just given that it's such a big part of your life?
Yeah, there's not a
Can't really
day
help it.
goes right. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't listen to a song or music or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, music's a part of everyone's life. Imagine how fucked up the world would be if we didn't have music.
Oh yeah. Well, I try
Yeah,
not to
so
imagine it actually. It's a sad thing to imagine.
it is. So, yeah, I mean, music is a huge part of my life. Anything associated with music. But, I am a regular human being. I have a wife and two dogs, and I like to travel and go places. I like to go to movies. I like to eat. I like to go out to dinner. I mean, I do all kinds of normal shit all the time.
And is it ever a struggle for you to have that balance? Because I know that, a lot of guys in your position, they're just so work oriented that it can even, sometimes be a negative thing when they're trying to be with the wife, trying to be with the family. Is that something you encounter, or is it really just easy for you to manage?
I have been accused of being a workaholic sometimes,
There you go.
uh, um, but I wouldn't really know how to handle sitting idle. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, and not do nothing. So I've always got to have something going on, or a project, or going somewhere, something. Just to sit home and not do anything for 3 or 4 days is pretty rare.
Yeah, I could imagine you're one of those guys who maybe you try it and then it's like you're sitting there watching a movie on the couch and you're thinking, well, I could be, writing a song right now.
Yeah, unless it's a movie I want to watch.
Right.
Then I'm
We
into the
need that too.
movie. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'll watch a movie because I do, but I like to go to the movie theaters. I mean, that's another thing I do on a lot of things, that I do, like baseball games and movies and stuff, are things that I do on the road when we're on tour to, cut the boredom on days off or something. Because what people don't realize is that outside of the 2 hours we're on stage or whatever, the rest of the day is pretty boring.
Right.
And I have things to kinda I'm like one of these guys that has routines, and, they're very, like, I do things at a certain time. I have a routine on the road, right? There's an order of things I do, and it makes the day go by quicker. Otherwise, I'd go nuts just sitting there idle.
For sure. We're obviously going to talk about some of the new stuff you have going on, but real quick, because this, that sort of leads into this question. How do you find the experience doing a residency compares to being on the road in that regard of like trying to keep yourselves busy? Obviously, the travel element is taken out, and it seems like Tesla seemed to sort of have all types of new opportunities and realizations when it comes to lifestyles of the residency. So, I mean, talk to me about that.
Well, the residency, it's like the one thing I don't do is I don't stay in the hotel.
Okay.
I rent a house,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, I rent a house, and usually with a pool.
There you go.
So,
Gotta have a pool.
well, in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
10 months out of the year, you can swim in the pool. And I like, just laying in the sun and jumping in the pool. And I like sunshine. I like sunshine a lot. So on the days off, that's what I do there. And that's cool. Or, I'm friends with Sebastian. I'll go see Sebastian. Or there's this guy, Goddard, who's a famous painter that lives in Vegas as well. I'll see him. I got a couple of friends there to go hang out with or whatever. Or I'll go to a movie. But, if I'm in Vegas and we're doing the residency, um, I, I'll rent a house, and my wife will come, or my friend Marvin or whatever, and I hang out at the pool, because I don't want to be at a pool in a hotel with hundreds of people gawking at my big old ass. You know what I mean? So I got my own little space. But as far as show days go, it's the same thing. It's the same regimen. Where I might get off the bus at 12 noon if we're doing, on tour, and then go into the venue and do my routine. I'll go to the gig at 12 noon
Right.
and do my routine just as if I was there,
Okay.
just like normal.
Because you're big on routine,
I'm big on routine. Yeah, man.
for sure.
Yeah, I definitely am a routine kind of guy.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you as well why you rented a house when you're doing the residencies, because from my understanding, most of the band and the crew all stay in the same hotel where it's going on. Are you
Yeah.
sort of an introvert all the way around? Like, or is that
No,
something? No.
we don't stay in hotels very much, anyways.
Okay.
There's, in the old days we used to, and we'd be in them for 4 or 5 hours, and you'd spend all this money, and it's like I have a bus that I'm in a bunk, and there's showers, and I have nice dressing room every day, so I don't really need a hotel. So when you're in a place like Las Vegas for 12 days, and you're only playing 5 shows in that 12 days or 6 shows, the last thing I want to do is sit in a hotel room all day. So
Right.
that's why I rent a house with a pool. Because I don't have to deal with staying in a hotel that the fans are in. Because that could be quite hectic. You go down
Yeah.
and you want to go get something to eat. You got everyone all over you. You got no privacy in a hotel. You're surrounded by all the other people. Whether go to a gym in the hotel, or if you want to go to the pool, and there's 400 people at the pool in Las Vegas. No, I got my own pool. I'm hanging out,
Yeah.
sunshine, and drinking my iced tea, whatever. So
That sounds better to
yeah,
me.
it's not a matter of being an introvert or whatever, because I'm not.
Okay. But it's just about
Yeah,
practicality when it comes to the gigs,
it's
especially.
just about sanity.
Right. Sanity.
It's like, okay, I'm going to be in this place for 12 days.
Yeah.
Well, I'll rent an Airbnb and stay in there, and then I got my own space, you know what I mean? On a bus, I'm traveling overnight every night, so I'm going from one town to the next, but sitting there for 12 days, I would go, it's too much.
Yeah.
Part of my routine is the only time I'm really on my bus is when so I'll run you through the routine. I get off the bus around 12:30 in the morning,
Okay.
right? I get out of my bunk at 12:30. Have my coffee, I go to the bathroom, I go into the venue, I go into my dressing room, I exercise because I have my life cycle with me. I do sound check. I take a shower. If I got interviews to do, I do them, whatever. I get dressed. I play the show. I eat dinner. I pack up my stuff gets packed up. I get on the bus. I get in my bunk and we go to the next city. That's the kind of order of the day, right?
Right.
And that the next day I get up at 12:30, same thing, right? And then if you have a day off, I get off the bus at 12:30, I'll go to a baseball game or I'll go to a movie or I'll go to a mall or out to dinner or whatever. And then, get on the bus at, 11 o'clock at night and we drive to the next city. So
Right.
it's a routine. It's a definite routine.
How would you say that, times like these where you have your routine and it's very much, regimented, like how does that compare to the early days of your career when you were first getting out on the road? And
Well, in the
also, is
early
that a
days of the
time?
career, my routine was different. It was,
Right.
get fucked up, pull some chicks, have some sex, play a show, get more fucked up, pull some more chicks, have some more sex, pass out, wake up at the next city, and do the shit
Repeat.
again. Yeah, but the routine, it was a routine, but it's changed because, you're talking about when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I've been with my wife since I'm in my 40s. So my routines changed, but it was a routine back then there. It's just the priorities were different.
It's just a different type of routine, right?
Yeah, it was a different routine. There was drugs, alcohol, and promiscuous sex with, girls involved back then. All that's gone. So now it's just the rock and roll part. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
now 62, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the only difference. It was still a routine, but, honestly, the reason I think people do drugs and alcohol is because they got so bored. It's
Right.
pretty boring when you're not playing. You have to find things to keep you occupied or stimulated. And when you're young, it's easy to be stimulated,
Yes.
right?
Lots
And
of
when you get
options.
older, it's like, no, I got to keep occupied.
Right. Did you ever see yourself being in the position you are now in terms of that big change? Like, did you see yourself still doing the same career but having it look so different?
No, I didn't think about it.
Right.
I was living in the moment back then. Now it's easy to look backwards and reflect. It's not easy to look ahead and think, okay, listen, when I was in my 20s, what am I going to be like when I'm in my 60s doing this? Didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not thinking about what I'm going to be like if I'm doing this in my 80s.
Right.
You know what I mean? I hope I make it to my 80s, let alone do this. I don't know how, I don't really think about it. I don't think like, oh, this is my last tour. But I'm realistic. I don't sit there and go, will I be doing this, 10 years from now? Probably not.
Hmm. But you
I'd
never had
like to
time to think
be.
about that.
No, and you don't really want to think about it. It's just like, it's just like, how many people sit around and think about dying?
Hmm.
It's like you don't want to go there. You don't want to think about dying, even though we know we're all going to die. You don't want to think about it. You just want to live in the moment and make the best out of what the day is. And that's what I do.
Exactly. And I mean, we see you taking advantage of every day as well. Obviously, the latest project, Violet Breed, is very exciting. There seems to be this feeling of newness and this sort of energy surrounding it that is I think very exciting for the fans. Maybe if you could speak to this new project and how it sort of came about.
Well, how it came about was Alex, the singer, I met about 10 years ago when he was just getting out of high school. And he had a band called Flash Fires in England. And I produced them and managed them and, tried to get that band a record deal in England and in America, but just couldn't get it to happen. But Alex is incredibly talented and we connect. I mean, Alex, he's almost like my I guess, if I had a kid, it would be like Alex, right? So I've always mentored him and stuff. And so when his band broke up, COVID hit, and then he said, "Look, I want to do my own record." And I said, "Okay, great." So he came over and I started working on songs with him. He had a song, I co-wrote the songs with him and produce and everything. And we had such a good time doing it, and the stuff turned out so good that we said, "Well, why don't we just make this a band with me and you?" You know, kind of like a younger dude and an older dude and stuff. And that's how it came about. But a lot of people keep saying, "Well, what's going on with Brian? Is he leaving Tesla?" And the answer is no, not at all. Why would I do that? I started the band with Frank. I'm not going anywhere. I just have another band as well, right? With Alex. And there's enough time in the year for me to do all the shows that Tesla would ever want to do. Hang on, there you are. And all the shows that Violet Breed would ever want to do, and still have 3 or 4 months out of the year to go on vacation with my wife and my dogs.
Right.
So so in short, no, I'm not leaving Tesla. Yes, Violet Breed is a real band with me and Alex. It's like because if I didn't do that, then what would I do for the other 6 months out of the year that Tesla doesn't do anything or Tesla doesn't work? Listen, we're Tesla have been a band for 40 years. There's
Amazing.
nothing left. We don't have to prove anything, right? We go out and we play the songs for people and have a great time doing it. But I have another side of me that still likes to create new music and do stuff. And Tesla is what Tesla is. Tesla's like a brand, you know what I mean? Tesla is the thing. And Violet Breed is like an open canvas. So it's cool. It's like I do one thing that, we started in the garage and made that a you know, a brand that everyone knows. And I want to do it again with something else. But I'm not leaving either one. There's
Right.
plenty of time to do both.
So that being said, was there any conversation with Tesla when you decided to start this venture? Because I mean, obviously you guys are all busy in your own ways.
No.
Okay.
There's no. It's no different than when Frank does solo records or Jeff did a country record or you know what I mean? Because it doesn't take away from Tesla. If there was a situation where Violet Breed was going to conflict with Tesla, Tesla would have the seniority.
Right.
And that goes without saying, right? And Alex knows that and the guys in Tesla know it and so no, there was no need to sit down and like, you know, say, "Hey, is it okay if I do this or anything?" You know what I mean? Because I would never put anything before Tesla. So it's just like, well, okay, I got one car in the garage and this is another car I drive when I'm not driving that car. if you
Right.
want to look at it in those terms, you know.
And one's a Tesla. I'm sorry, I just
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
make the
one's a
joke.
Tesla. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
Had no choice there. So I mean, the other thing you mentioned, which is really interesting here, is like the fact that Tesla is so established, and then this new project is like an open canvas.
Mm.
Talk to me about navigating that with Tesla because you guys obviously have your hits and you have your legacy. Is that something that is challenging to sort of, I don't want to say compete with, but is it something that you feel is sort of relevant when you're making new stuff?
New stuff with who? With Violet Breed or with Tesla?
Well, I guess when you guys are trying to push the envelope forward with Tesla, I guess I should say.
Well, listen, Tesla has made an incredible body of work over the 40 years. We're not making a new record right now. And I'm not taking songs that would go to Tesla to Violet Breed. In Violet Breed, when the song ideas start, 95% of the time, they're started by Alex.
Okay.
And I take Alex's ideas and work on them with Alex. So they're coming from a different place. With Tesla, the ideas can come from, Frank, Jeff, myself, Dave Rude. They used to come from Tommy Skio. You know what I mean? They come from five. So it's not the same. I don't want to use the word formula, but it's not coming from the same place. You know what I mean? I'm not going to write the next Paradise and say, okay. I mean, I know the difference between a Tesla song and a Violet Breeze song, or I have in my other band, Soul Motor, which is kind of a heavier band that I've done 4 albums with while I was in Tesla as well. None of those ever crossed. You know what I mean? And usually the songs that I wrote for Tesla got got used by Tesla, and if they didn't end up becoming Violet Breed songs or Soul Motor songs. And like I said, with Violet Breed, the songs usually originate with Alex, and then we expand upon that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, I write all the songs with him, but he usually 9 times out of 10 starts the song.
Right. That makes sense. So it's a completely different process. And I
Yeah,
think a bit,
process. Let's not call it formula, but process. The
yeah,
process of writing songs in Tesla is completely to the different than the process of writing songs with Alex and Violet Breed.
for sure. And I think the better way to word the thought that I was having here is like given the legacy of Tesla, do you ever feel like you yourself are competing with that legacy, whether it's with Tesla or with one of your other groups?
Well, I think, that you can't help that. I mean, I'm sure there are diehard Tesla fans that'll say, well, what he's doing in Violet Breed isn't as good as what he does in Tesla. Violet Breed doesn't have that advantage because it doesn't have 40 years under its belt. You know what I mean? So, but then honestly, I don't get a lot of negative feedback from the Tesla fans that like Violet Breed. They think it's cool and they get it. You know what I
Right.
mean? They go, "Oh wow, this is cool. This is something new, different. Brian's doing something new." Because it doesn't sound like Tesla, nor does Soul Motor. It's like
No.
completely different. I think if it was to sound like, oh, that sounds like Jeff Keith could have did that song or something,
Mm,
then it would be maybe a problem. But competing with my own legacy, no. I mean, I am who I am. I'm just Brian that started one band and has another band and
right.
likes to write songs and make music and produce music and all things above. So I don't trip on it too much.
For sure. And I would imagine if you're, remaining authentic to doing new things and having it be fresh, you wouldn't really have to worry about that because it's not really competing if it's not in the same realm, in the same universe,
Well,
you know?
that's it in a nutshell. It's like it's not
Yeah,
in the same, it's not the same. It's not
right.
it's, one's apples and one's oranges. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not, oh, different kinds of apples here. It's, one's one thing, one's another thing. One come originates and starts one way, and one starts from a completely different place. The only common denominator is that I'm in both of them.
Right. That's the one common link. Now, you guys had your UK radio debut on the Joe Elliott show.
Mm.
Curious how you felt that the reception has been so far from the UK.
I haven't heard much feedback, to be quite honest. Alex would know better because he lives in the UK. I
Right.
mean, obviously, me and Joe Elliott are great friends, and I asked him, is this something you could play on your show? And he went, absolutely. So he played it. I mean, I'm more in tune with what's going on in America with this stuff right now, and the feedback on the YouTube thing, which is at just about at 100,000 views in 4 weeks,
Wow.
is really positive. Right, the Spotify streams are about 50,000, and they're really positive. So we're going to take it to secondary radio markets next, and see how it does there, and ask me in 8 weeks, again. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, you put it up and you see, well, how did you kind of test it here and see what people like, and then, okay, well, that we can move to the next step, and that's kind of where it is. And listen, people were asking me, are you going to tour? It's like, well, I don't know. If there's a demand, then I'll go play shows. If, I don't want to go out and play to five people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you put it out there, and all the signs point towards, okay, there's positive feedback, but now let's see if we can get some radio love, and then maybe try a handful of shows and see if we sell tickets. You know what I mean? If we don't sell tickets, there's no point in going out. I don't need to feed my own ego, because
Right.
as soon as I write the song with Alex and record it and produce it and put it out there, it's gone. You know what I mean? I've done what I've done, the passion in it. Then it's up to the people to decide if they like it or not
Mm.
me. Then if they like it, then I'll go from there and go, okay, well, they like it. They say, hey, we'd love to come and we'd love to see you play. Well, then yeah, we'll go play some shows. I mean,
Mhm.
ultimately, that's what I hope will happen, but I have no
Right.
control over any of that. All I can do is write the songs and record them and play them and sing them and put them out there, and then leave it up to the people to decide whether they like it, they want to see it, or they hate it and tell me to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, is that tough though, Brian, to let go of that element of control? Because the one thing that I, you know, definitely have observed about people in this business is that they will start a band or make an album because they want to win this award and they want to play this venue and
No, I
you
don't
know,
give a fuck about awards. I've
you
never
don't
won
care.
any.
There you go.
Right? I've never won a VMA. I've never won a Grammy. We're not going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't give a shit about the awards. What I give a shit about is if I make somebody forget the bullshit they have to deal with in the course of their day or their week, and come and see Tesla play or Violet Breed. If that song makes them go, and feel better for 3.5 minutes, mission accomplished. That's the award. So no, awards don't mean shit to me. Don't care about them.
Fair enough. I mean, so did you feel this way in general, like awards, money, success? Were you not
Well, I
caring
like
about that?
money. Who
Right, right.
doesn't?
Of course.
Who
I mean,
doesn't?
yeah, all the above is good, but like when you started Tesla, for example, were you hoping to achieve these things, or was it like
When I
again, you just want to
started
play?
Tesla, what I hoped to achieve first was to make a record and have it available in record stores.
Okay.
Then it was okay. I want to play, Oakland Coliseum Arena, or, Memorial Auditorium was the place when we were kids, right? Me and Frank. And then, it turned into this. And then, of course, we always wanted to be the biggest band on the planet, but we never were. But we're still one of the bands that are out there playing. Um, I guess now when I look at it all, I tell people, listen, I never wanted to be uh, rich and famous. I wanted to have money, but I never cared about fame.
Mhm.
And the only reason I wanted money was to be able to do whatever I wanted to, security to eat better food than I eated when I was a kid, or be able to go on a trip, or buy somebody something, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not obsessed by money, but I'd be lying to you if I told you I don't. Who doesn't like having money? We all
Yeah.
want money because money gets us whatever, whatever we want, to a degree. Can't get you everything, but you know, um, ultimately, it's about when I go into my studio and I start working on a song, whether it's with Alex or Frank or Jeff or whatever, it's about the song, just writing a cool song. If that turns into something that generates money, well, that's the award, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or ticket sales. But I mean, I get off more on if someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, that song, I really love that song. It got me through this thing or whatever." As corny as it sounds, that actually touches me.
Of
Not
course.
how many dollars I have in, all that shit. I don't trip on that. I mean, as long as I wasn't broke, I'm cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I'm a pretty driven guy, so like I said, I find something to do.
Right.
I'm a
You're gonna find
survivor.
it.
Yeah.
Did you see it as a feasible outcome that you would actually make money from making music when you first started?
Well, I always thought I would. I mean, when I was 6 years old, I was telling everybody I was going to be a rock star one day.
There you go.
Now that I was fucking nuts, but I mean, whatever dreams, whatever you want to call it, right? I had that dream, whether or not that got to being money or whatever. I mean, I guess it all comes hand in hand. I mean, when I was a kid wanting to be Paul McCartney, he was rich and famous. I wanted to be like Paul McCartney, but it wasn't about being rich or famous. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
was just I wanted to be like that guy, and that's what
Right.
comes with being. Some people use their wealth and success good, and some don't. Some use it bad. I'd like to think that I've used whatever I've got or achieved to do good stuff and not bad stuff. But we've all done bad stuff in our lives. No one's, you know what I mean? So, you try to do more good than bad. And hopefully, if you believe in heaven and God or whatever it is that you need to believe in, we make it to a better place. You know what I mean? But you just try to. I don't know. I guess if you look at it like, well, what do I want people to think about? When I'm dead, the people that know me, they'll know me. So that'll be, but people didn't say, well, that guy was pretty cool. He wrote some good songs. He had a cool band, and the band were really good live, and they made people feel good. And that's it.
It's a pretty
You
good thing to
know,
be known for.
yeah. In a nutshell, I guess. I mean, we're getting just heavy on a tangent now. You know what I mean? I'm not
I
that
understand.
philosophical. It's just like I don't think too much about it, Cassius. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, I like to make music. I like to see people do well. I like, I would love to see the world be happier. You know what I mean? All the, I'm a pretty positive guy. I don't dwell a lot in negativity.
Yeah, which I think is great. And again, it is interesting. I think that people hear this from you because it's some things that people may not know. Now, in terms of the progress with Violet Breed, I'm curious about that. How much material do you guys actually have, either fully recorded or that you're currently working on right now?
About 20 songs.
Wow. Okay, 20 songs. So is there any
Yeah.
sort of tentative release date for maybe the next single, or is it too early still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was someone asked me today, are you going to put out an album? No, because to ask somebody to digest 12 songs or whatever is a lot for somebody that doesn't even know this band. So, my original plan was to put out a song every 8 to 10 weeks, and Awake is doing much better than we thought it was. So we're not going to put out the second song until January
Okay.
because there's still legs under Awake. But I think we'll put out a song or maybe two songs, because then I got to thinking the other night. A lot of ideas come to me when I'm half asleep, right? I
Okay.
thought, well, maybe I'll put out an A song and a B song, like a single, a proper
Hmm.
single, not just one song every, 8, 10 weeks. I've got enough to go for the next year. And me and Alex are writing songs right now. I mean, I'm working on stuff in my studio in New York. He's in his studio in London. We're recording back and forth, you know, through the modern technology. And, you just don't stop it. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm like I said, I'm off from Tesla right now. Tesla's not on the road. Everyone's on holiday. Everyone's on break. So he sends me an idea. I work on it. I send him an idea. We work on it. If Jeff sends me an idea, I got 3 or 4 Tesla things in my studio that we're working on right now that I'm not really going to tell you about yet because we got this new EP coming out November 28th, right? This All About
Yes.
Love EP. So that's, we're talking about that, but I'm not going to talk about what's after that until we're done with the All About Love thing. It's a different strategy with Tesla than the strategy with Violet Breed. So, you know, I'm always doing something.
Always got your hands full.
I might write
Now.
another book,
Oh wow.
you know. Yeah, yeah. I don't, that's going to be completely different. And I think it's going to be like a fictitious story about a town
Oh
where
wow.
these people are all fucking crazy.
That's
You know what I
cool.
mean? I've got it all in my head like a David Lynch film. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
not going to be about this book wouldn't be about me, but maybe it turns into a screenplay or something. I don't know. I mean, I know I
Yeah.
have it. I know it. I know that it can turn into something. Whether or not someone buys it, makes a movie out of it, or a book. I mean, they'll make a book out of it because I have another book on my book deal.
Right.
So I've always got projects. I do the painting stuff. I got projects around my house. I'm doing remodeling my kitchen.
There you
You
go.
know, I've got something to keep me busy. I'm going, to Italy for Christmas and Thanksgiving, with my wife and my dogs, and that's my time. That's where I just chill out. So I'm not bored, man.
That's amazing. It definitely sounds like a fulfilled life. I know we're about to run out of time, but do we know the number of songs on the EP, or is that something that's still top secret? I'd have to ask.
No, there's 6
6 song
on the
EP. Okay.
Tesla EP. There's 6 songs,
And is there any other
and
material that has been recorded that maybe won't make it to the EP?
we are recording songs right now. Tesla has been recording in the last couple of months some songs for the next project that comes out after that.
Okay.
But we just released the reel to reel on vinyl,
Yes.
right? Tesla's still busy. It's just we're not making brand new studio records. That takes
Yes.
too much time. We're getting into the later part of our lives and Tesla's career, and I don't want to spend 2 years locked away in the studio to make another 12-song album when that's 2 years we could be taking it to the street and playing songs for people when Jeff still can sing really well. You know what I mean? Because we're up against the clock. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like he's getting older and he sings really well, but when you get his age, you could stop at any minute. You just don't know. So at that point, when he can't sing to the level that we do live, then we'll worry about going into the studio where you can do things over and over and still make music. I think Tesla will work together in some capacity until we're all dead.